The forest was silent. Snow covered everything. Trees stood like frozen statues. The ground was thick with snow. No footprints. No signs of life. But suddenly, soft cries broke the silence. Two small children, one boy and one girl, stumbled through the snow. The boy was about 5. The girl, maybe 7. Their clothes were torn, faces red from the cold, hands shaking, tears ran down their cheeks. They were lost, hungry, and scared. They had no idea where their parents were. Then footsteps, slow, careful, coming from behind a group of trees. A black woman appeared. Her coat was thin, her face tired. She looked weak, but her eyes were full of concern. She dropped to her knees in the snow, wrapped her arms around the two children, took off her scarf and wrapped it around them. She didn't say a word, she just held them close. The children looked at her. They didn't know who she was, but in that moment, she felt safe. She whispered, "You're okay now, I've got you." And with all her strength, she carried them, one in each arm back through the snowy woods. She had just lost everything, but in that moment, she found 2 reasons to keep living. The woman's name was Amara. She lived alone in a small wooden cabin deep in the forest. The trees were tall, the roads were rough. No one came that far unless they were lost. Amara was a widow. Her husband had died in a car accident 2 years ago. They had no children. After he passed, she left the city. The noise, the pain, the memories. She wanted peace. She wanted silence. She wanted to forget. Life in the forest was not easy. She grew her own food, collected firewood, walked miles just to get clean water. But she was strong. Even when her heart felt broken, she kept going. One winter evening, during a heavy snowstorm, she heard cries outside her cabin. At first, she thought it was the wind, but then she opened the door and saw them, 2 small children, alone in the snow. They were freezing, shivering, barely able to speak. She rushed to them, carried them inside, gave them warm blankets, soup, hot water to hold in their hands. She asked their names. They were too scared to speak. They didn't know where they were, only that they had been hiking with their parents and got lost when the snow came. Amara waited. Days passed. No one came looking. She tried to reach out, but the snow had blocked all roads. The phone lines were down. The forest was cut off. The news on her old radio said search teams had given up. The children were believed to be dead, but they weren't. They were alive. And now, they were with her. She looked at them, 2 small, innocent faces, and though she had lost everything, something deep inside her woke up. She would care for them. She would protect them. Even if the world had forgotten them, she wouldn't. Days turned into weeks, then into months. The snow melted. The forest came alive again. Birds returned. Flowers grew, and so did the bond between Amara and the children. She gave them new names, Hope and Liam. She didn't know their real ones, and they were too young to remember clearly. All they knew was Amara loved them. She fed them, bathed them, and tucked them in every night with a soft kiss on the forehead. Hope started smiling again. Liam laughed when Amara told him stories. Their eyes, once full of fear, now sparkled with joy. Amara taught them how to plant seeds, how to feed the chickens, how to listen to the sound of the wind in the trees. They didn't go to school. The forest was their classroom. Amara read to them every day. She taught them letters, numbers, and how to be kind. They grew strong. They grew happy. To the world they were missing, but to Amara, they were found. Still, sometimes Amara sat by the fire at night and cried. Not because she was sad, but because she felt lucky. She had lost her husband. She had been ready to give up, but these children gave her a new reason to live, a new family to protect. One day, Liam asked, "Are you our real mommy?" Amara smiled, her eyes filled with tears. She held his hand and said, "Maybe not by blood, but I love you like one." Life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. Until one fall afternoon, something changed. A stranger came to the forest. He was a tall man with tired eyes. His face was cold, his voice sharp. He was looking for something, or someone, and from that moment, the quiet life Amara had built began to shake. The man's name was Richard. He was the children's real father. For 5 long years, he had searched everywhere. Mountains, forests, small towns. He never stopped looking. His wife had died shortly after the children went missing. The guilt ate him alive. He blamed himself for taking the family on that hike. He turned bitter, angry, cold. When the storm hit years ago, he had been separated from the kids. He believed they were taken by the snow, but something in his heart kept telling him they were still alive. He never gave up. Others called him crazy, but he kept searching. Now, after 5 years, he returned to the same forest. His boots sank into the snow. His eyes scanned the trees. Something felt different. He didn't know why, but he felt close. That day, while walking through the forest, Richard saw someone lying on the snowy path. It was Amara. She had slipped and hurt her leg while gathering firewood. She was bleeding and could barely move. Richard rushed over, but as he saw her face, black, poor-looking and alone, he stopped. His eyes grew cold. He didn't ask her name. He didn't ask what happened. Instead, he frowned. "Are you okay?" he asked flatly. Amara tried to speak. Her voice was weak. "Please, help me. I can't move." Richard looked at her. His face tightened. He thought she was just another person begging, a burden. He shook his head. "I'm sorry. I'm in a hurry." And just like that, he turned and walked away, leaving her in the snow. He didn't know she was the woman who had saved his children. And now, as he continued walking toward the deeper forest, he would soon come face to face with the biggest shock of his life. Richard kept walking through the snowy path. His heart was heavy, but his hope was strong. He didn't know what he was looking for, but something pulled him deeper into the forest. Soon he saw a small wooden cabin in the distance. Smoke was rising from the chimney. It looked peaceful, quiet. He walked closer. His footsteps crunched in the snow. Just as he reached the cabin, 2 children ran out laughing, a boy and a girl, around 5 and 7 years old. His heart skipped a beat. He froze. They looked just like his kids. The girl had the same curly hair as his late wife. The boy had his own eyes. He stared at them, confused, shaken. Was this real? The children stopped when they saw him. The girl stepped back. The boy held her hand tightly. Then the cabin door opened. Amara stepped out slowly, leaning on a stick. Her leg was still hurt. Richard's eyes widened. "You?" he said in shock. "You live here?" Amara looked at him, calm but firm. "Yes. I've lived here for years." He pointed to the kids. "Who are they? Why do they look like mine?" Amara took a deep breath. "Because they are yours." Richard's face turned pale. His hands began to shake. What are you saying?" She told him everything. How she found them in the snow, how they were alone, scared, cold, how she took them in, fed them, loved them, raised them. Richard stared at the children. His knees dropped to the ground. He couldn't speak. Hope looked at him closely. "Do we know you?" she asked gently. Tears rolled down Richard's cheeks. "I'm your father," he whispered. Liam stepped back. "But you didn't help Mama Amara when she was hurt. Why?" Richard looked down in shame, his eyes filled with guilt. He had walked past the woman who saved his world. Amara stood strong. She didn't speak to hurt him, only to show him the truth. And in that moment, Richard saw it all. His pride, his blindness, his mistake. He had judged the woman who gave his children life again. Richard sat on the cold ground, still in shock. His eyes stayed on the children. His children. They looked at him, not with joy, but confusion. To them, he was a stranger. Hope walked slowly to Amara and held her hand. "She's our mom," she said softly. "She was there when we were scared. She held us, loved us." Liam nodded. "You didn't help her. Why?" Richard's heart broke. He had spent years searching for his kids, but when he finally found them, they loved someone else, someone he had just ignored and left in the snow. Tears ran down his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't know. I didn't see." Amara stood quietly. She wasn't angry, but her eyes held pain. "You looked at my skin, my clothes, my injury, and you walked away, without asking my name." Richard shook his head in shame. "I was wrong. I was full of hate and pride. You saved them. You raised them. You gave them life again, and I walked past you like you were nothing." He looked up at his children. "I don't deserve you." Hope stepped forward. Her voice was small, but strong. "Maybe you can change, if you try." Liam nodded. "Mama Amara says people can grow, even if they've been bad." Those words hit Richard like thunder. The children didn't want revenge. They wanted understanding and kindness. They wanted him to change. For the first time in years, Richard felt small, but also, he felt hope. The snow was still falling softly. Richard sat near the fire in the cabin. His children sat close to Amara, smiling and laughing. He watched them quietly. For the first time he truly saw what he had almost lost again. Amara moved slowly as she made tea. Richard stood up to help her. She looked at him. He gently took the cup from her hand and whispered, "Please let me try to be better." Amara nodded. She didn't say much, but her eyes showed peace. The children were happy. They had both their worlds now, the woman who gave them love, and the man who was ready to change. Richard decided to stay, not to take the kids away, but to build trust again. Slowly, with time, he worked around the cabin, helped Amara with firewood, learned to cook, to listen, to love again. One day, Liam looked at him and smiled. "You're trying," he said. "Mama Amara says that's what matters." Hope hugged Richard tightly. "We can be a family, a new one." Richard's heart swelled, not with pride, but with deep, thankful love. He turned to Amara. "I judged you, but you showed me what true kindness looks like." She gave a small smile. Kindness doesn't care about color or mistakes. It only wants to heal. And in that quiet forest, under the snow and stars, a new family was born, built not by blood alone, but by love, grace, and second chances. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.